So for our live viewers, this is a Penske, obviously a Penske moving truck that just rolled up here outside of IBEW Union Hall on Spring Garden. We're basically at Spring Garden and 18th Street. Expecting a significant haul of evidence, and obviously based on what we were seeing walking out of the doors right here, already this has been going on for only about 2 or 3 minutes at this point. Probably a couple of dozen boxes being loaded right in the back of this big moving truck. And you can see that these investigators just keep coming. It's not clear exactly how much they've boxed up from this Union Hall location. This is just about half a block down from the Union's headquarter offices, which are basically behind where I'm standing. This is the Union Hall location where all of these boxes, probably at this point, at least 3 dozen boxes of evidence being removed from this Union Hall right now. And as you can see, obviously they keep coming out by the armful. Just loaded on the back of this moving van. As quickly as investigators can bring them out here. So it's not clear exactly what would be kept in the Union Hall location that would be of interest to investigators. As I was saying a moment ago, this is only about half a block down from the Union's main offices, which are directly behind us. We do not know if this same Penske moving truck is going to perhaps go to some of the other locations that have been the target of today's raids as well, to collect evidence from them as well and put all the evidence in the back of the single truck. But at this point, it's still coming. Probably a group of about 10 workers here who are carrying out these boxes, again just by the armful. So in terms of the number of boxes that have come out of this one particular location, rough estimates so far, perhaps 100 boxes of evidence. Just based on what I've seen, this has only been happening for about 5 minutes now. But as quickly as they can carry them, they're just bringing these boxes out the front door here on Spring Garden and to the back of this moving van. And Austin, to answer your question, not clear what type of evidence this is. This is just evidence that investigators are removing from the IBEW Union Hall, currently clad with these Hillary for President banners everywhere. This Union Hall is the IBEW Local 98 Union, and this is an electricians union that has been at the center of these raids today by federal investigators, obviously collecting a pretty significant amount of evidence. And just as Diana was saying there, yes, this is the union that is known to be led by Johnny Doherty, major Philadelphia Union leader, and this is the evidence that is being removed from the Union Hall as we speak. Jackie, to answer your question, IBEW is the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. So this is the electricians union, but the number of people represented by this union as union members is broad and goes beyond just sort of standard electricians, to include some other types of workers as well. I'm going to back up and give a bigger sense. Obviously there's a lot of media assembled here, getting shots of this work happening. These metal boxes that you see this one gentleman carrying out here, metal and plastic, it's not clear if that's some sort of computer component these gray boxes or if that is just a different type of file or box that are being brought out. You can see in some of the boxes that are being removed right now, it's quite clearly just your standard sort of folders, file folders in these boxes that are being removed, just paper files that are being taken out. But the quantity that is being removed is really significant here. Jamie, we don't know the reason behind the search warrant at this point. We just obviously know certainly they have warrants for these locations, and they're removing a very significant amount of evidence here from this Union Hall right now. I'm going to back up and give just a slightly wider picture here. So this Union Hall itself is sort of unmistakable on Spring Garden. You can see the electricians, LU, local union 98, IBEW there across the top, and then you know, a lot of their political propaganda connected to the upcoming presidential election, just covering the entire outside of this building. But it's not totally clear what office work would be done in this Union Hall. As I've been saying, the primary union headquarter offices are about half a block behind us. So this is more of the Union Hall. And it's not clear the division of work that would occur in this building. See right here being carried out a couple of computer stands in the arms of these investigators. It's not really clear what exactly type of work would occur in this Union Hall building as opposed to the union's sort of headquarters and executive offices that are about half a block away. Jamie, the Cliffs Notes version is there has been a raid of multiple locations today, evidence seizures, search warrants at various addresses across the city of Philadelphia associated with the IBEW Local 98 Union, including the prominent union leader Johnny Doherty, his home address, as well as union higher-up and city councilman Bobby Hinnan's offices in City Hall. So it's been a multi-point raid, and this raid at the Union Hall is just one location of multiple. So the flow of the evidence coming out has slowed some, but just to zoom in a little bit on the back of this Penske truck, you can brighten up the shot. You get a little bit of a sense of just how many boxes they've carried out. So that seems to be the bulk of it. It's not really clear, like I was saying earlier, if this Penske truck is going to be going to some of the other locations that have been raided today to sort of aggregate all of the evidence from those locations into the back of a single truck. But this is basically like a moving van size Penske truck, as you can see here. They have just begun filling with evidence. It seems like they have stopped removing evidence from this particular location. You can see one of the investigators raising the back lift gate. Again, don't know if this truck is going to be used for other locations for evidence collection as well, or if it's just sort of a one and done here for these guys. But I haven't seen a raid quite like that before, where you just have this stream of people coming out the front doors that you see here directly to a moving van. Typically evidence that would be removed even in a significant federal probe would go in the back of an SUV, just the type of vehicle that investigators already have on hand for their department. This is something they clearly rented just to carry the quantity of evidence that they have. Austin, to answer your question, not exactly any national media here right now, but certainly probably becoming a story of greater scope. It looks like this yellow Penske truck may be moving soon, so not sure where it would be headed, if it's going to some of the other locations or if it's just collecting evidence from this scene and they decided that it was really too much for just the back of the SUVs that they already have.
Yep.
And just for any viewers out there who are wondering about, I don't believe I made any connection to the election. I just noted, obviously, what anybody who's looking at this would note, which is that this union is very active in politics and certainly supporting the Democratic candidate for president. We do not have any indication that about the specifics of this investigation at all, let alone that it would be connected in any way to the election. So certainly anyone who is jumping to those conclusions, that would not be accurate based on what we know now.
So moving down there. That truck and everything? No. You're not getting our way, I'm just telling you. No, I appreciate down there. More loading if they heads up. I always feel like we're in the way. You're not, you're never in the way. You see you guys get hit. Clipped by a mirror. It's been done before. Yeah, I'm sure it has. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we'll see.
So you can see the media now moving down. I'll give you guys, before I end this Facebook Live, I will just show you how close that Union Hall is down to the executive offices of the IBEW Local 98. So that's the Union Hall used for events, used for meetings, large space, clearly based on the evidence that they were taking out of there. There's also offices in there as well, but this red brick building on the corner also being, as you can see, guarded by Pennsylvania State Police, has crime scene tape up around the outside of it. This is what we believe is sort of the primary union offices, basically the executive offices of the IBEW union. This is, again, Local Union 98, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. You can see their sign out front, and really since I've been out here at about 9:30 this morning, they have had this whole side of the building taped off, and you can see they still do. And we're hearing that there may be more evidence collection coming out of this building as well. So we will certainly keep an eye on that, and perhaps we will be doing some Facebook Live on that, depending on what we see out there. But for now, that's sort of the view. Just looking down the block, you can see where we came from, about half a block down Spring Garden Street here, I should say, basically west on Spring Garden Street is the Union Hall, where they just removed evidence, and then here you can actually see some FBI agents or FBI federal investigators, we'll say, leaving the building right now. This Union Hall on the corner, Union Building on the corner, is where the executive offices are, and we think they may be removing evidence from here next. And to answer Mary's question, yes, there is a, I don't know about the inflatable rats, but the Ratmobile, if you check out my Twitter, I have a photograph of the Ratmobile behind this building, which they sometimes drive to union events. So that is the situation. We're going to wrap up this Facebook Live, though, guys, but keep watching NBC 10's feed for the latest information on this. We'll Facebook Live again if the seizure from these executive offices here is something that would be worth watching.